Hey there and welcome. So today I want to share with you two dreams that I received or that I had in 2019 before I was actually born again officially and before I got baptized as an adult. The more time passes, I realize that these dreams have had and still have some prophetic qualities to them. I never really thought I'd be sharing them because they're quite personal. And back in the day, I didn't really believe that my dreams were that special, or maybe, I thought they were just dreams. So let's start with the first one. It started somewhere in December, just 2 years ago, before the whole coronation thingy, and I had a dream where I was standing in my home in the dream world, not a real home in the real world, and I was just somewhere near the windows, and I was on the first floor. I could see a man passing by my window, and I had those kind of shades, like the Israeli shades. I don't know if you have them in other places, where you can completely darken the window, and if you open them slightly, then you have like lines of light coming in. So they were slightly open, and I saw this man just walking through just outside my window, and I immediately knew that he was sent to kill me. He was a hitman, and I still remember the way he looked. He had like a long hair, kind of yellowish, dirty, blonde, kind of long hair in a ponytail, had like a Russian type of a look over his 40s, maybe mid 40s, and he looked like an unscrupulous kind of a person. And as I saw him, I immediately knew his intentions. And to make the dream kind of short, because it does have kind of personal elements in it, I knew that my life was in immediate danger. I asked for help. I called for help. A couple of people came by and they helped me, and he didn't manage to kill me in the dream. Um, and just as people helped me, there was some kind of like a police in the dream world as well. They came afterwards, not too long after I was saved by this hitman, and the police wanted to know why me. Why me? Basically, that's what they asked. And there were two reasons. One of them was the reason that I gave them was I'm a medicinal chemist. And that's the part of the dream that I want to share with you. It happened to me in the beginning of December 2019, just before the outbreak. So I guess my qualities and my knowledge was a problem to someone. And why am I telling you this dream? Why does it have any prophetic qualities to it? Well, I don't, I don't call myself that. I don't see myself as that. But just a couple of days, maybe 1 or 2 days after I had this dream, I was still in Israel. I was walking the street just in my neighborhood, and just like around the corner of a really, really busy street in the center of the city where I used to live, I saw a man who looked just like that guy from my dream. Needless to say, I went out of there as fast as I could. I wasn't scared or anything, but it was just, one of these moments that just stay with you, and you have like a question mark over your head for a while. The other dream that I had, actually, I had in the beginning of 2019. That was the year, just a little background story, where I decided to completely cut off the world from my life, cut myself off from everyone fake, I mean, it's a long process that I had been dealing with for a while, like for a couple of years prior to that, but 2019 was the cutoff. Like, I cut off fake friends, completely cut off everyone from my life because they all turned out to be fake. And yeah, cut off fake friends, stopped going to metal parties. I was never into alcohol. But I guess sometimes when we did go to metal parties and the music would suck, I would sometimes get like a tequila shot because I really love dancing. And if the music is really bad, I need some music or something to, I don't know, that's how I was, to get like a in the mood for dancing and metal dancing. I guess, what's in your mind and types of like imagination of metal dancing that you can have. But yeah, in Israel we had like a pretty big metal scene, so we would dance to metal music. Long story short, I cut off fake friends, I cut off alcohol completely. I was never a fan of alcohol anyway. I cut off dating. I just decided I want to break from everything completely. At least for half a year, I gave myself. And within that half a year, I received that following dream. I was still in Israel. In my dream, it was a post-apocalyptic, or rather an apocalyptic kind of a dream. And I've had many of those, so I didn't really think much of it. But to get to the point, in the dream, I was in Bulgaria. I was actually in a house where I grew up, and some family members were with me who actually did live in Israel as well. So this wasn't a very realistic dream for the time being. We were in this place and everything was completely pitch black. It was night. The way this neighborhood used to be was very, very lively, noisy, children everywhere, people everywhere, dogs, and in the dream it was pitch black, like some kind of a post-war or during war kind of a vibe where people would darken their windows so I don't know, the planes won't see that that's a city and they won't bomb us. So everything was pitch black. The whole vibe was just mere survival, very kind of a dark mood, hungry, thirsty, feeling completely unsafe, in danger, not really knowing what the danger was. That was the atmosphere of the dream. And suddenly there was a noise. Now, the way our building was built was that on the back side, where the balcony was, we had like a pretty big space of grass and like an empty space where I used to play soccer with the boys when I was a kid. Anyway, in that space we heard a noise, and immediately I recognized the noise was some kind of like a helicopter, and we knew that that was some kind of a drop by of supplies, food and water probably. And as you can imagine, everyone being just completely hungry. By the way, there was no water or electricity, just basic, and we were starving. um the first moment we heard that noise, one of my family members completely wanted to storm off and go and grab some supplies before they run out. And immediately I knew that that was a trap. It was actually a trap. Now, everything in this dream and in many of my dreams, I have this telepathic knowing, or immediate kind of a knowing of what's happening. So I knew that was a trap, and I warned my family member not to go out there. And I don't remember much if he listened to me or not. But within that knowing, I also knew that conspiracy theories here, you know. I knew that there was some type of an alien invasion fakery going on as well. I mean, I knew that the enemy was people, not really enemies of aliens, but the way they made it look was like a fake alien invasion type of a thing. And I knew that the people who would go after that delivery, and by the way, the helicopter didn't land. It would just like drop it off and it would land on the ground. The way that this would work was people would storm into it, and I didn't see this in the dream. I just knew it, that the moment people went out there, they would get abducted. They would get taken, and nothing good would happen to them afterwards. So when I knew this, I went out into the neighborhood and just walking around the neighborhood, every person that I would see, I would warn them that this was a trap and not to go after the supplies, and just to, you know, I know hunger and thirst is heavy to deal with, but it's better than being abducted and taken a prisoner. And as I was warning people, and you can imagine like the whole vibe, the atmosphere was completely dark, stressed. Um, there weren't many people outside just hanging out, you know? Everyone just basically cared about their safety. But I did see a woman, and this area of the dream was a little bit, you know, it's a dream, so it's kind of fluid, and timing wasn't completely in order. So I have like a couple of scenes that are mixed up. Maybe if I had my diary from 2019, I could read it if I even wrote it. But two years later, this is what I remember. So I saw a woman, and I was trying to warn her. And instead of her being, you know, super careful and stressed and wanting to run away from open ground so she wouldn't get spotted, she kind of like started developing a conversation with me. And I thought of that like on the back of my mind. I was like thinking, she's just trying to hang out. What is her ulterior motive? Just trying to keep me out here for a longer time. Why? And the sooner I realized this, I continued seeing more helicopters dropping these huge boxes of supplies. They look like a huge square black brick of some sort. And on the sides of these huge boxes were people. And like army kind of people in black uniform, kind of like a SWAT team uniform, not really in the details because I don't really know many types of uniforms, but like completely heavy equipped to withstand any type of attack, I guess. And they had a black uniform, those were the bad guys. They were just basically jumping off those supply boxes, and they were jumping off from the sides and going after people. And the one thing that I remember, and I know that within this dream, I just had this feeling that this is a super important detail. I don't know why. Back in 2019, I was just thinking, oh, I have such an imagination. Whatever. Their uniform had yellow stripes on the side. So they were completely pitch black and yellow stripes on the side. And they were going after people. I don't know if they were killing them or if they were capturing them, but the whole vibe was just run for your life. And as I was seeing this, this woman that tried to talk me into, I don't know, some type of a meaningless conversation, the moment I realized what she was doing and that she was a part of the bad guys, without understanding how she even got to the ground, um, I, I decided I need to go away, tell her that, I gotta run too. And the moment I did that, she started chasing me. And this is where the dream became supernatural, I guess, in terms of what we call natural in this realm. And she started chasing me. She was some type of a super soldier, kind of a late lady. She was Asian looking. She would defy gravity, and I don't know if you've seen the series Legion, but in that series there was a character in there who had a, sort of a double personality type of thing that would manifest in the physical world as well. So it was a guy and a woman, and as far as I remember, that woman was also kind of a little bit Asian looking. I don't really remember. It was years ago that I saw it. But um, in that series, that female character would go out of his belly and receive like a physical form. And that series deals with a lot of demonic stuff as well, mental health, you know, spiritual health basically. So this woman from my dream had somewhat similar qualities to that character. When I talked to her, she was just one. But when she started chasing me, suddenly there were like two of them, and I knew that that second one was a part of her. It wasn't like just another person who came after her, you know? It was like a twin kind of looking woman, two women looking like completely equal twins. Forgive my poor English, I've forgotten many words. Um, and when they joined hands, that was their superpower. So she would chase me naturally, or they would chase me naturally. But when they would join hands together, they could jump into like some crazy, crazy, crazy heights from the ground up to the top of a building. Long story short, I escaped them. But the whole vibe of this dream has me thinking, and it was almost 3 years ago that I dreamt it. The people that had those uniforms, I forgot to mention a super important detail. Those were Nazi uniforms. And when I woke up, I was like thinking, what the heck? Why am I dreaming of Nazis in 2019? This is so random, and super soldier powers and Asian women and demonic manifestations. And the more time passes, I just gotta say, it's making more and more sense. I know it's kind of oblique to think that this could be prophetic, but look at where we are. Look at where we are. Financial crisis is already starting. The moment that money is not available to us, simple human beings anymore, and we can't buy or sell anymore, we're basically gonna be, you know, we're expected to be. I don't want to say we're gonna be because words have power, but the way things are going, it seems as though society is just gonna throw away people who don't fit the main agenda, and people who don't comply with the whole mark of the beast scenario won't have the ability to buy or sell. Also, the whole war vibe in this dream, I don't know where it could make sense, maybe 2-3 years from now, but the whole Nazi uniform thing, I mean, regimes in countries have become completely fascist. Discrimination and apartheid are on, and it's become lawful to take people's constitutional rights away from them, and people can do whatever they want. People with sick egos and some control in their hands could, you know, prevent you from buying food and just taking care of your basic needs. I don't know how things are in your country. Currently living in Bulgaria with God's help, and we used to have, or maybe we still have, one of the lowest percentage of marked people. But even though like over 80% of us are still human beings without, you know, GMO stuff in us, in terms of the liquid death elixir thing. I gotta be careful because YouTube already deleted many of my most important videos, so words, yeah. Even though we have a high percentage of, you know, people like me, the regime has become completely fascist. Basically, the only thing I can do for months now is to, has it been months? Month and a half, is to go to the supermarket, buy some food, and travel in public transportation and be in the public. That's it. Like, I can't go to the gym, I can't go to the cinema, I can't go to the mall. And many of the shops that I need to go to are actually in the mall. So if I need, some glasses or contacts, shoes, clothing, cell phone companies, all in the mall. Luckily, here and there we have some that are outside, but how long is that really gonna last for? And I had received news from Israel maybe a month ago already that by the 27th of December, please correct me if you're from Israel, let me know if this is true or not, because I didn't read it anywhere official. I just received this from a family member as news that from the 27th of December, you won't be able to draw money from an ATM that is outside of the real bank. You know how you have street ATMs, those are gonna be going away, and there's only gonna be one of those in a specific city, which is super strange. And this is how basically control is being established, right? You want to set some unrealistic rules or laws, unconstitutional law, unlawful laws for people to get inside an establishment. But then they have other options, right? So you take away those other options and people run out of other options. So basically, to give you a super silly example, the day that they gave us the green, or maybe I should call it a Martian Mark Pass order, because it's not really a law, I needed to withdraw some money from my bank account, and it's inside the mall, so I'm not really allowed to go inside the mall, even though the ATM is just, next to the door. And even though there was an exclusion inside that order that you are able to go to the bank, that was one more thing that you can do. You can go to the bank. So if you need bank services, you're supposed to be able to go there. But the security guard didn't let me in, so I couldn't basically withdraw my own money from my own bank account. How amazingly inhumane and illogical, it's just completely crazy is that. They're just basically blocking you from basic services, and there's nothing you can do because flying monkeys are actually doing their dirty work. Just like in the Holocaust, you had Jewish people who were, you know, doing the dirty work when their brothers and sisters were being killed by them, in front of them, next to them. I don't really know why I feel moved to share these dreams with you. Maybe there's some divine reason for it and I don't really see it, but I'm trying more to, just listen to the Holy Spirit, and he's been pushing me to do this video for maybe 2 weeks now, and I'm so thankful I finally got to do it. And I want to pray for safety for each and every one of you who, is out there living like a real human being, out there looking for the truth. And all you believers, I want to pray in your safety in the name of Yeshua Mashiach, Christ, Son of God, that we all count to be worthy to escape God's wrath. And the days that are coming are gonna be hard, but if you stay focused and you stay strong and you completely, are focused and you are connected to yourself and connected to God, there is nothing to fear because God has our back, and whatever is coming, you will have, you know, either guidance or the willpower or some kind of a magical, extraordinary, divine, a way out and into safety. And that is my prayer for us today. And I want to say see you soon because I do have a lot of videos to make and some old videos to post. So I hope that happens that way. Thank you for listening if you got to this point, and I wish you a beautiful, peaceful day. And I'll see you hopefully soon. Bye.